on the murder! Marvin! 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 Marvin!
Hello there, this is Stone Dog, film fan and amateur historian. My work has been published on many bathroom walls. I normally use the channel to talk about action movies, Hong Kong movies, and westerns. But today, let's talk about something different.
And now for something completely different.
Let's look at the movie, a comedy mystery genre film, Whodunit, from the famous comedy duo Abbott and Costello. Interestingly enough, there is also a short by the same name from the Three Stooges, as well as a Benny Hill movie, which was his debut film. Our duo find themselves working in the same building as a radio station with one of the most famous shows being made by them, a crime show. Abbott and Costello's characters, however, work downstairs at the drugstore / soda shop as soda jerks in the building, playing Mervyn Milgram and Chick Larkin respectively. They dream of writing radio mysteries, but most of their stuff is not any good. Upstairs, between the writing staff, there is some romance and tension brewing between a new writer and one of the producers. When a murder occurs at the radio station during a live broadcast, Abbott and Costello seize the chance to play detectives. The victim, a network president, is killed through a method which seems to be right out of one of the show's plots, and the bumbling pair stumbles through a series of comedic mishaps while trying to solve the crime. They navigate a web of suspects, including a femme fatale, a suspicious writer, and station employees, all while dodging the real police and getting into slapstick trouble. With help from their friend Juliet, played by Mary Wicks, they unravel clues involving a secret code and a rooftop chase, eventually exposing the killer in a chaotic, laugh-filled climax. We get to see them filming the radio show and see how the sound effects are made and hear great radio voices. Set in a 1940s radio station, the film captures the era's cultural vibe with authentic details during the live broadcasts and sound effects, grounding the absurdity in a relatable setting, what feels like a real place and business. The story's Murder at Midnight program parodies popular radio mysteries like Inner Sanctum, reflecting the era's obsession with serialized thrillers. Inner Sanctum is a very fun listen. It's fun to see even for that before the plot gets going and the murder happens. The movie feels like a noir murder mystery that Abbott and Costello wandered into, which just feels so right. This blend of genres that the film successfully merges slapstick comedy with a whodunit mystery keeps the tone light while maintaining enough suspense to engage viewers. The murder mystery provides a framework for their gags without overshadowing the comedy. I really enjoy the excellent lighting and use of shadows in these black and whites, and this is no exception, adding so much atmosphere to the film for what could have just been a phoned-in, no-frills film. It really is a whodunit, as the audience has no idea what happened and who did it, figuring out the scheme as the heroes do. There are really great gags here, like the smashing through windows one. Physical comedy is so timeless. Costello's knack for physical humor, his falling, fumbling, and dodging danger adds visual hilarity, especially in scenes like the rooftop chase or navigating the chaos of the radio station and playing with the different machines around the place. These moments showcase his comedic athleticism. I'm always amazed by how these bigger guys move, with later actors like John Belushi especially, and John Candy being great actors who have carried that torch, bringing entertainment and comedy that you could understand even past a language barrier. Despite it being timeless, something that remains funny, we don't get much of it well done anymore, at least not in American cinema. For this film and its blend, we the audience get the signature comedy chemistry of Abbott and Costello's interplay and banter. Abbott's sharp-witted straight man to Costello's bumbling, lovable fool, which drives the film. Their rapid-fire wordplay, like their famous "What's on Second" routine, delivers timeless humor that elevates the simple plot, making it more than just a churned-out B-studio effort. In the end, the tight 77 or so minute runtime keeps the energy high, balancing the gags, the plot progression, and the mystery solving all very efficiently. The script avoids dragging, making it one of their leaner, more focused films. We've talked a bit about the plot, setting, and comedy. Let's look at the cast. Bud Abbott, born William Alexander Abbott on October 2nd, 1897 in Asbury Park, New Jersey, he was the straight man of the iconic comedy duo Abbott and Costello. A straight man sets up the jokes, the other guy delivers the punchline and generally plays the fool. Abbott grew up in a showbiz family. His parents worked in the circus, and his father was a theatrical advance man. This environment sparked his early interest in entertainment. By his teens, Abbott himself was working in vaudeville, starting as a theater cashier and later performing as a straight man in comedy acts. His sharp timing and ability to set up punchlines honed his craft long before even meeting Lou Costello. He did meet Lou Costello in the early 1930s while working in burlesque. Despite what may come to mind with the modern implications of the word burlesque, the term does not mean Abbott performed in lacy undergarments. Ooh, what a terrible mental image. Burlesque originally meant a satirical or exaggerated parody, often poking fun at high culture, opera, or other social high-class norms. By the early 20th century, American burlesque evolved into a variety show blending comedy, music, and at times risque performances performed in theaters or traveling circuits. Burlesque comedy specifically refers to the humorous sketches routines within these shows, emphasizing slapstick, wordplay, and broad, accessible humor to entertain working-class audiences. My, how language changes. The two teamed up in 1936 with Abbott as the slick, fast-talking straight man and Costello as the bumbling comic. Their chemistry clicked instantly. Abbott's role was to be the calm, cunning part to Costello's frantic energy. His deadpan delivery, quick wit, and ability to steer routines like their most famous Who's on First made their act legendary. In this film, his character Mervyn plays the scheming instigator pushing chick into the murder mystery with dry humor and exasperation. After success in vaudeville and radio, Abbott and Costello became Hollywood stars with films like Buck Privates. Whodunit was their first film without any musical numbers, focusing purely on the comedy and the mystery. The duo made 36 films together, with Abbott's straight man role being the backbone of their success. Who's on First, their most famous sketch, is preserved in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Beyond films, they starred in the Abbott and Costello Show on TV, and Abbott voiced himself in animated adaptations. Sadly, Abbott faced financial troubles later in life due to tax issues and gambling debts. That old foe, the IRS, seized much of his earnings in the 1950s, forcing him to sell assets. He also battled epilepsy, which he kept private. After the duo split in '57, Abbott struggled to find solo success. He did some voice work, did some minor roles, but retired in the 1960s. He passed away on April 24th, 1974 in Woodland Hills, California, leaving a legacy as half of one of comedy's greatest teams. This heritage is seen in duos like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. I'm not sure we really have anything like it today. Please comment below who you think is the great comedy duo of today, if one comes to mind. He had adapted seamlessly from stage to radio to film, handling dialogue-heavy roles with ease, as seen in this film, and became a long-lasting cultural touchstone as their duo left a mark on cinema that remains to this day, a feat that not every radio star duo was able to pull off. As a team player, his willingness to often let Costello take the spotlight while he set up the laughs showed his professionalism and an understanding of what made their dynamic work. On the subject of stars that didn't successfully make the change from radio to television or movies, no doubt there's a joke in there about video killed the radio star. There was Bert Lahr, iconic vaudeville clown and radio performer, famous for his bombastic, exaggerated styles in shows like The Howard Barlow Show. He starred in Flying High in 1931, but it didn't seem to be well received, and made comedy shorts later for educational pictures in the 1930s. His over-the-top energy apparently translated poorly to the screen. He did succeed as the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz. There was also Fanny Brice, who you've probably heard referenced in a lot of old jokes. She was known for the radio sensation, or as the radio sensation, Baby Snooks on the same show, The Baby Snooks Show, blending Jewish dialect humor and character sketches. She was also a Ziegfeld Follies alum, causing her to be in the 1941 movie Ziegfeld Girl as herself. She remained in radio until 1951. The last one I'll bring up is Ole Olson and Chick Johnson, who had a radio hit with Olson and Johnson Time throughout the 1930s, and they were known for their pioneering, chaotic, ad-libbed, often comedy sketches. They were a vaudeville duo known for wild energy, and they did have films like Hell's a Poppin', which was ambitious but erratic, and it is a significantly groundbreaking meta-style movie. It's worth watching, it's very funny. Their earlier efforts like Gold Dust Gertie flopped due to poor pacing and visual chaos not suiting what cinema was looking for. After World War II, they faded into obscurity with just stage and TV appearances. Lou Costello, born Louis Francis Cristillo on March 6, 1906 in Paterson, New Jersey, was the comedic heart of the duo, whose work defined comedy in the 1940s and still resonates to this day. He was raised in a working-class Italian-American family. He was athletic, he excelled in basketball and boxing as a teen. His love for comedy was sparked by watching old silent film stars like Charlie Chaplin, inspiring his pursuit of showbiz. Costello started in vaudeville in the 1920s, performing as a comedian under the stage name Lou King. He worked in burlesque theaters, honing his physical comedy and expressive delivery, which became his trademark. After stints as a stuntman and bit player in Hollywood, he returned to the East Coast where he met Bud Abbott. Costello's strength was his physicality and emotional range, his high-pitched voice, his expressive face, and his knack for all the slapstick, the pratfalls, the exaggerated panic and terror made him the duo's visual centerpiece. His frantic, panicked reactions to the danger in this movie show this very well. He also voiced himself in the animated versions of their act. At home, Costello was deeply family-oriented, married to Ann Battler with 4 children. Sadly, the tragic drowning of his infant son Lou Jr. in 1943 devastated him, impacting his emotional life, though he often channeled that grief into his work. This, and Costello suffering from rheumatic fever as a child, left him with a heart condition. All these things, combined with the physical demands of his comedy, took a toll. He was 36 at the time of filming, and it was already adding up. Financial pressures and occasional tensions with Abbott, overbilling or creative control or whatnot, also marked his later years. After the duo split in '57, Costello pursued solo projects, including a dramatic role in The 30-Foot Bride of Candy Rock. His health declined and he died of a heart attack on March 3, 1959 in Los Angeles, just shy of his 53rd birthday. As well in the cast, we have Patrick Knowles, born Reginald Lawrence Knowles, from November 11th, 1911 to December 23rd, 1995. He was a British-born film actor, known for his debonair looks, his versatile supporting roles, and a career spanning over 100 films. Often cast as romantic leads, heroic seconds, or even comic foils, he embodied the suave English gentleman archetype, frequently appearing in swashbucklers, horror movies, and comedies. His resemblance to Errol Flynn earned him early Hollywood notice, but he became a reliable character actor rather than a top star. Born in Horsforth, West Riding of Yorkshire, England, Knowles came from a family in the bookbinding trade. As a teenager, he rebelled against joining the business, running away twice to pursue acting. First at 14 when he was dragged back home, and successfully a few years later. He adopted the stage name Patrick, dropping Reginald for a more theatrical flair. He arrived in Hollywood during its golden age, initially playing leads in B-movies before settling into character parts. He was signed by Warner Brothers for his Flynn-like charm, and he appeared in prestige pictures but often as the other man or the sidekick. By the 1940s, he freelanced across studios like Universal for this one, where he tackled horror and comedy, and later shifted to westerns and TV in the 50s through the 70s. He amassed nearly 125 film credits, including a lot of uncredited bits, showcasing his adaptability. He was able to retire in the late 1970s, and he lived in California's San Fernando Valley. In this film, he plays Jimmy Turner, a suave English radio writer and former college professor hired for the Murder at Midnight show. As the straight-laced romantic lead, he's entangled in the plot when the station president is murdered during the broadcast. His character helps the soda jerks, Chick and Mervyn, in their bumbling investigation, while rekindling a romance with producer Jane Little, played by Louisa Albritton. He also played in the 1936 Charge the Light Brigade as brother to Errol Flynn's lead. He was a swashbuckling cavalry officer in this historical epic, highlighting his Flynn-esque chemistry. In 1938, he was in The Adventures of Robin Hood as Will Scarlet. He was in The Wolfman in 1941, the werewolf film that cemented much of the cinematic werewolf persona despite being the second film. And he played a friend of the title character in that movie. He was later in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman as the ambitious scientist in Universal's monster mashup who drives the plot forward with his experiments on the Frankenstein creature and Wolfman. In January 1940, Knowles survived, weirdly, a dramatic plane crash when his private aircraft was shot down. I don't know if it was mistaken for a target or what. He walked away unscathed, later joking it was his closest brush with a scripted adventure. Patrick Knowles died on December 23, 1995 in Woodland Hills, California, from heart-related issues, specifically a heart attack. He was 84 years old. William Gargan plays Lieutenant Moran, a no-nonsense police detective investigating the murder of the station chief, the station president. He was known for his tough guy persona, his gravelly voice, and roles as detectives, cops, or working-class heroes in films and radio during Hollywood's golden age. A versatile character actor, he appeared in over 100 films, often as a supporting player, and gained fame on radio and early television. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, to a large Irish-American family. His father was a bookmaker and detective, which influenced his later typecasting as lawman. His street-smart upbringing shaped his authentic, gritty screen presence. Before acting, he even worked as a private detective, collection agent, and even a bootlegger's runner during Prohibition. all experiences that lent credibility to his tough guy roles. He played famous radio detective Martin Kane, which was also later a short-lived TV series. His Martin Kane role made him a household name on radio, with his voice described as sandpaper with soul, perfect for a hard-boiled detective. He reprised the role on TV, though health issues limited that run. He also did I Wake Up Screaming in 1941, another noir with him playing a detective with Betty Grable and Victor Mature, adding gravitas to the murder mystery. He was in The Canterville Ghost as a World War II soldier and a comedic ghost story with Charles Lawton. Gargan's grounded performance always helped balance out the fantasy. Sadly, throat cancer in the late 1950s damaged his voice, ending his acting career, but he pivoted to an advocacy for cancer awareness. He was diagnosed with laryngeal cancer in 1958 and underwent a laryngectomy, losing his natural voice. He learned esophageal speech and became a spokesperson for the American Cancer Society, earning the Sword of Hope Award in 1967 for his advocacy. He spent his final years in San Diego, California. He died of a heart attack in 1979 while on a flight from New York to San Diego. Louise Albritton, from 1920 to 1979, was an American film and stage actress known for her striking beauty, aristocratic poise, and witty comedic timing during Hollywood's golden age. Often cast as glamorous leads or other women or kind of more of a sidekick role in B-movies and supporting roles, she brought elegance and pep to genres like horror, comedy, and drama. With a career spanning about 25 films throughout the 40s, she was a Universal Pictures contract player whose talent hinted at greater stardom, though she retired early for marriage. Her role in this film exemplifies her charm as a romantic foil in the chaos of Abbott and Costello running about. Tragically, her mother died when Louise was very young, leaving her father to raise her amid her budding acting ambitions. Defying her father's wishes for conventional life, Albritton pursued theater, training at the prestigious Pasadena Playhouse in California. Her beauty and talent quickly drew scouts, leading to early film opportunities despite her youth. She entered Hollywood in the early 1940s with small roles at Columbia, then signed a 7-year contract with Universal Pictures, where she starred in second features, horrors, and comedies. Known for her chiseled features and Lombard-like comic flair, she often played sophisticated, witty women. During World War II, she entertained troops with a USO troop, even performing under gunfire. Post-war, she ventured into Broadway and television. Married in 1946 to the CBS newsman Charles Collingwood, she largely retired from acting in the early 1950s to instead focus on family and his career, though she made occasional TV appearances. As long as we keep bringing up Universal monster movies, she was also in Son of Dracula as a scheming vampire who summons Count Dracula. This role as a salty horror highlight cemented her in Universal's monster canon. Her final movie, an unreleased project, title unknown, remains a mystery, was possibly shelved due to her retirement. She passed from cancer at only 58 in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where she and Collingwood had retired. We also have William Bendix in the film, a favorite of the channel. Born in Manhattan, New York to a working-class family, he grew up in Hell's Kitchen, where his father was a musician and his mother a seamstress. His thick Brooklyn accent and streetwise demeanor shaped his on-screen persona. Before acting, he worked odd jobs, including as a bat boy for the New York Yankees, where he befriended Babe Ruth, and a grocery store manager. He briefly ran a speakeasy during Prohibition, adding to his gritty authenticity. He caught the acting bug in his 20s, joining the New Jersey Federal Theater Project during the Depression. His stage work led to Broadway roles, which caught Hollywood's attention. I've talked about him and his roles more in other videos. Check out my video on Blackbeard the Pirate for that. Some of Abbott and Costello's most memorable duo films include Buck Privates, which led to other military-based sequels, Hold That Ghost, with them co-starring with the Andrews sisters, and set up later successes where they meet the various Universal monsters, as well as The Time of Their Lives, where Costello plays a ghost, and The Naughty 90s, which includes their full famous Who's On First sketch. Their major success was from 1941 to 1948. The director of this movie, Earl C. Kenton, was renowned for his work in B-movies spanning comedies, horrors, and westerns during the Golden Age. With a career directing over 130 films from 1916 to 1957, he was a reliable studio hand who excelled at fast-paced, imaginative productions, often on tight budgets. He bridged the silent-era slapstick with sound-era horrors, directing classics like Island of Lost Souls and Universal's monster group-ups and rallies, including The Ghost of Frankenstein. His style emphasized visual flair and efficient storytelling, making him a favorite for low-budget genre fare. Before getting into films, he worked as a schoolteacher, an animal exhibitor, and in 1914, at age 18, he moved to California and joined Mack Sennett's Keystone Studios, starting as an actor and gag writer in that chaotic world of silent comedies. He was one of the original Keystone Cops. His horror phase peaked at Universal, where he directed monster films like House of Frankenstein, proving how successful monster team-up movies could be, and these Abbott and Costello vehicles. He disliked the rigid comedy assignments, preferring the creative freedom of horror, as he noted in a 1944 interview where he said, "They give us a chance to let our imagination run wild." He was fired from Hit the Ice after arguments with Lou Costello over pacing. He quipped about the duo's films, "I wasn't real fond of directing them," saying instead he preferred horrors for their creep sets. After the 1940s, he shifted to TV, co-directing The Texan with Rory Calhoun. He retired in the late 1950s, leaving a legacy as a B-movie craftsman who delivered on time and budget. Kenton died of natural causes at 83 in Hollywood. He's remembered as a B-movie wizard in film histories, with works preserved in archives like the Library of Congress. If you look closely during the radio station crowd scenes, you might spot an uncredited young Mary Wicks as Juliet, a friend of the duo. Her sharp comedic timing foreshadows her later fame in films like White Christmas, adding a layer of discovery for those who were eagle-eyed in the crowd. Overall, the ensemble, featuring William Gargan, William Bendix, Louise Albritton, and Patrick Knowles, had unique ties to the duo. Gargan and Bendix, both with radio and vaudeville roots, meshed well with Abbott and Costello's style, while Albritton's witty poise echoed Carole Lombard, another Universal favorite. Knowles, fresh from horror roles like The Wolfman, added a suave edge, and his chemistry with Albritton hinted at a romantic subplot that is kept really light to focus on the comedy of the movie. Released on November 6, 1942, Whodunit was a commercial hit, grossing over $2 million domestically, equivalent to roughly $35 million today. Critics lauded its fast pace and the duo's chemistry, with Variety calling it a laugh riot for its seamless blend of mystery and slapstick. It remains a fan favorite for its genre pivot, often ranked among their top films. It was shot on a modest budget, under $500,000 at Universal, and the film reused sets from other studio productions, including the radio station from The Mad Doctor of Market Street. The director's efficiency, learned from his Keystone Cop days, kept costs low while maximizing laughs, a hallmark of Universal's wartime output. The film is a great snapshot, a microcosm of 1940s Hollywood B-movies. It's an easy watch and it's a lot of fun. At time of writing, it was available on Amazon Prime or free on Roku with ads. You might be able to find a copy on the archive. I did not find it on YouTube though. No doubt, this information will change. If you have any updates as to where the film is available, please comment below. Let me know as well what your favorite Abbott and Costello movie is. I hate to ask, but I need your help. Please consider liking and subscribing. I'll probably be making videos either way, but it really helps the algorithm. Until next time, this has been Stormdog.
Cheese! What are you doing in there? Come on, come on. Snap it.
Hey, Chick.
What?
Tell the guy we got some nice ham sandwiches here.
The man don't want a ham sandwich.
Look, Chick, we got some lovely roast beef.
Never mind the roast beef. Get in with that Limburger cheese.
If you think I'm going to get in here with the Limburger, you're crazy!
Come on. Slice one up. Will you bring that cheese in here? Will you make it snappy?